Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is September 17th, 2018, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, nothing scheduled for today, but as the week progresses, we have a couple of announcements coming out. So we'll take a look at that later in the week. But let's see what's been happening in the markets. So we're looking here at the Euro USD, and week to week, we just saw it basically just run up 100 pips and then correct itself 100 pips from 116.20-ish level to 117.17, and then a subsequent correction to it. So this is just indicative of the lack of consistency in the market, the lack of if you will, some foresight in the market in terms of which direction the markets are going to be going. And I think that we're going to stay here for a while until things settle down, either with the tariffs and some of the trade wars that are going on. Now, if we look at this formation, we could actually see a head and shoulder forming. That would be the head, that would be one shoulder, and this would possibly be a second shoulder. Now, we've had previous resistance at these levels, so this is actually something to look at for possibly entry point on the downside. So I would take possibly a small short here, okay, to see if it does continue working out. If it does break below the 116.15-ish level, I would get a little bit more aggressive. That possibly could be a good play today, but looking at some of the other plays today, really nothing jumping out at me. GBP USD just looking like it had a really nice run up back to this above 130-ish level, and we look like we're retracing here, and the last bounce we didn't seem like we're as bouncing as hard. So our next support level here is 130.32-ish level. So we may see a correctional move down here as well as the week progresses. Now, altogether, the dollar has gotten weaker, and as we look at the USD ZAR, we can see that more clearly. 115.56 down to 114.64. But remember, it had a tremendous run up from 11 to 15 over the past 3 months. So that is something to really make a note of. I think we'll continue staying in this tighter range. I don't think we're going to be breaking out of this range. I think we're not going to jump out of it, but this is something to keep an eye on. Now, if we look at oil, we mentioned this last week in regards to Hurricane Florence. Things kind of subsided, so we may see a continuous correctional move on the downside from 68 down to 67, but that's my support level down there, so just keep an eye on that as well. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, been very strong. 26,140, only off of our highs by 500 points. So, this is still, relatively strong until it proves to me otherwise. So we may get that sell-off today. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So just be aware of it. Don't jump in, too aggressive on the first day of the week, especially as things are cooking up. Now, looking at the DAX as well, we continued this small little bounce as we had this massive sell-off, but nothing really to write home about. Okay, now also remember that you have to, open up your new contracts for December, okay, in terms of the futures, both the JSC, the Dow, and surely the oil for November. Okay, so just be aware of those. So, I would rather wait for the week to actually will start developing itself for us to jump in, but a couple of trades through the euro and the GBP USD, but nothing really, like I said, nothing really jumping out. So I'd rather wait for the Dow Jones or the DAX to kind of show me that they're weak before jumping into it. Now the stocks are the same thing. If we look at the Apple, we had a sell-off a little bit last week from our kind of the launch that they had with their Apple phone, and they're trading at 223, not selling off, but not going up higher either. Okay, so that becomes a little bit, iffy. Okay, so you want to be in a stronger trade. You want to be in a trade that is, more towards your favor. The probability is in your favor. So in this type of situation, just, take it easy until something develops itself. You still have the Euro USD or the GBP USD to jump in for today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.